Page 674, the male and female reproductive systems. Many differences between an adult animal and its young are controlled by the endocrine system. In humans, two endocrine glands, the ovaries and the testes, control many of the changes that occur as a child matures. These glands release hormones that cause the body to develop as a person grows older. They also produce sex cells that are part of sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction. You may find it hard to believe that you began life as a single cell. That single cell was produced by the joining of two other cells, an egg and a sperm. An egg is the female sex cell. A sperm is the male sex cell. The joining of a sperm and an egg is called fertilization. Fertilization is an important part of sexual reproduction, the process by which male and female living things produce new individuals. Sexual reproduction involves the production of eggs by the female and sperm by the male. The egg and sperm join together during fertilization. When fertilization occurs, a fertilized egg or zygote is produced. Every one of the trillions of cells in your body is descended from the single cell that formed during fertilization. Like other cells in the body, sex cells contain rod-shaped structures called chromosomes. Chromosomes carry the information that controls inherited characteristics such as eye color and blood type. Every cell in the human body that has a nucleus, except the sex cells, contains 46 chromosomes. Each sex cell contains half that number, or 23 chromosomes. During fertilization, the 23 chromosomes in a sperm join the 23 chromosomes in an egg. The result is a zygote with 46 chromosomes. The zygote contains all of the information needed to produce a new human being. Male reproductive system. The organs of the male reproductive system are shown in Figure 6. The male reproductive system is specialized to produce sperm and the hormone testosterone. The structures of the male reproductive system include the testes, scrotum, and penis. The testes. The oval-shaped testes are the organs of the male reproductive system in which sperm are produced. The testes consist of clusters of hundreds of tiny coiled tubes and the cells between the tubes. Sperm are formed inside the tubes. The testes also produce testosterone. Testosterone is a hormone that controls the development of physical characteristics in mature men. Some of those characteristics include facial hair, deepening of the voice, broadening of the shoulders, and the ability to produce sperm. Notice in Figure 6 that the testes are located in an external pouch of skin called scrotum. The external location keeps the testes about 2 to 3 degrees Celsius below 37 degrees Celsius, which is the usual temperature within the body. That temperature difference is important. Sperm need the slightly cooler conditions to develop normally. Sperm production. The production of sperm cells begins in males at some point during the teenage years. Each sperm cell is composed of a head that contains chromosomes and a long whip-like tail. Basically, a sperm cell is a tiny package of chromosomes that can swim. The path of sperm cells. Once sperm cells form in the testes, they travel through other structures in the male reproductive system. During this passage, sperm mix with fluids produced by nearby glands. This mixture of sperm cells and fluid is called semen. Semen contains a huge number of sperm, about 5 to 10 million per drop. The fluids in the semen provide an environment in which sperm are able to swim. Semen also contains nutrients that the moving sperm use as a source of energy. Semen leaves the body through an organ called the penis. The tube in the penis through which the semen travels is called the urethra. Urine also leaves the body through the urethra. When semen passes through the urethra, however, muscles near the bladder contract. Those muscles prevent urine and semen from mixing. Female reproductive system. Figure 7 shows the female reproductive system. The role of the female reproductive system is to produce eggs, and if an egg is fertilized, to nourish a developing baby until birth. The organs of the female reproductive system include the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, and vagina. The ovaries. The ovaries are the female reproductive structures that produce eggs. The ovaries are located slightly below the waist, one ovary on each side of the body. The name of these organs comes from the Latin word ova, meaning eggs. Female hormones. Like the testes in males, the ovaries also are endocrine glands that produce hormones. One hormone, estrogen, triggers the development of some adult female characteristics. For example, estrogen causes the hips to widen and the breast to develop. Estrogen also plays a role in the process by which egg cells develop. The path of the egg cell. Each ovary is located near a fallopian tube. The fallopian tubes, also called oviducts, are passageways for eggs as they travel from the ovary to the uterus. Each month, one of the ovaries releases a mature egg, which enters the nearest fallopian tube. Fertilization usually occurs within a fallopian tube. The egg moves through the fallopian tube, which leads to the uterus. The uterus is a hollow muscular organ about the size of a pear. If an egg has been fertilized, it becomes attached to the wall of the uterus. An egg that has not been fertilized starts to break down in the uterus. It leaves the uterus through an opening at the base of the uterus called the cervix. The egg then enters the vagina. The vagina is a muscular passageway leading to the outside of the body. The vagina or birth canal is the passageway through which a baby leaves the mother's body. The menstrual cycle. When the female reproductive system becomes mature, usually during the teenage years, there are about 400,000 undeveloped eggs in the ovaries. However, only about 500 of those eggs will actually leave the ovaries and reach the uterus. An egg is released about once a month in a mature woman's body. The monthly cycle of changes that occur in the female reproductive system is called the menstrual cycle. During the menstrual cycle, an egg develops in an ovary. At the same time, the uterus prepares for the arrival of an embryo. In this way, the menstrual cycle prepares the woman's body for pregnancy, which begins after fertilization. Stages of the menstrual cycle. Follow the stages of the menstrual cycle in Figure 9. Early in the menstrual cycle, an egg starts to mature in one of the ovaries. At the same time, the lining of the uterus begins to thicken. About halfway through a typical menstrual cycle, the mature egg is released from the ovary into the fallopian tubes. The process in which an egg is released is called ovulation. Once the egg is released, it can be fertilized for the next few days if sperm are present in the fallopian tube. If the egg is not fertilized, it begins to break down. The lining of the uterus also breaks down. The extra blood and tissue of the thickened lining pass out of the body through the vagina in a process called menstruation. On average, menstruation lasts about 4 to 6 days. At the same time that menstruation takes place, a new egg begins to mature in the ovary and the cycle continues. Endocrine control. The menstrual cycle is controlled by hormones of the endocrine system. Hormones also trigger a girl's first menstruation. Many girls begin menstruation sometime between the ages of 10 and 14. Some girls start earlier, while others start later. Women continue to menstruate until about the age of 50. At around that age, the production of sex hormones drops. As a result, the ovaries stop releasing mature eggs.